Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. In this video, I will discuss the key factors of this super fight along with my prediction. But before I get on with that, I want to ask you to stick your neck on the line and make your prediction public. You can do this by jumping down to the comment section below and hitting me up with your prediction. Who's going to win, Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury? And how do you think it's going to end? Decision, stoppage, whatever, hit me up in the comments. If you like this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button for more videos and more predictions just like this. So Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua could come together to create what could be one of the biggest heavyweight fights of all time. I'm hoping it's going to be sometime late in 2018. And you know, this brings together two of the best heavyweights that we've had for some time. And at the time of recording, the two of them are both undefeated. They've both been world champions. They're both multiple belt holders. They both hold victories over an all-time great in the great Wladimir Klitschko. They do have contrasting styles and characters in and outside the ring. And this is a fight that has to happen. It's a fight that the fans are demanding. Now, we can't talk about a fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury without really evaluating their victories over Wladimir Klitschko and whose victory was more impressive. So let's first talk about the positives or the achievements of Anthony Joshua over Wladimir Klitschko. He was fighting in front of a huge crowd, 90,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. Incredible to have a fight in front of that many live spectators, and there must be an incredible pressure to walk out in front of that many fans when you're not used to having fought that many times in front of crowds that are that gigantic. You know, even the indoor arenas like the O2, they're not remotely as big as Wembley Stadium and the 90,000 fans that were there. Okay, I mean, the next thing, Anthony Joshua was fighting to some degree with a lack of experience. I mean, he did not have that many huge names on his resume. He had steamrolled through everyone in pretty quick fashion, so he hadn't really been able to test or sharpen his skills throughout the pro game. Okay, he took some big shots in this fight against Wladimir Klitschko, and he got off the canvas. His tank was empty, and he was able to get off the canvas and stop Wladimir Klitschko. You know, that is seriously impressive, because he looked like he was out for the count. Wladimir Klitschko, a younger Klitschko may have been able to take Anthony Joshua out, but AJ got up, held his own, survived, took a few rounds off, fought clever, and then was able to finally stop Klitschko with a very impressive stoppage, we have to say. So let's move forward and talk about Tyson Fury's positives or achievements in beating the great Wladimir Klitschko. He beat Klitschko, and it was the first defeat Klitschko had suffered for, I think it was a decade. For some time, he'd run through so many, every challenger, and he had boxed their ears off and stopped them over and over again. Everyone that had been put in front of him. People criticized the opponents, but when you really dive into it, there weren't that many people that Klitschko didn't fight. There weren't. Where were they? If he was fighting bums for 10 years, where were these guys that he didn't fight? There was just a handful of guys that he did not fight and he did not destroy. Okay, and Tyson ripped those titles away from him. Okay, Tyson fought abroad. Okay, so he didn't have the home advantages. He didn't have, do you know what I mean? He was the contender and he was fighting abroad. So all of those benefits and advantages that the champion fighting at home gets, and the refs and the crowd, you know, Tyson didn't have that. But despite that, he got the victory. Okay. Also, he was confident enough to leave it in the hands of the judges to go the full distance. And that was his game plan from the very outset. He knew that he wasn't going to stop Klitschko, but he fought a game plan where he knew he had to be confident that he would leave it in the hands of the judges and that they would give him the result that he deserved. The next thing, not really getting hurt at all. Not really leaving with a scratch. I mean, Klitschko wasn't able to do anything of any note, and Tyson, you know, he was unhurt from 12 rounds of fighting one of the best heavyweight champions of the modern day. Okay, and from an offensive, from a skill set perspective, Tyson Fury totally outboxed Klitschko. He took away Klitschko's offense 100%. Klitschko wasn't able to set himself up and attack with the big bombs. He just wasn't confident of even trying because he was too scared of being countered over and over again. And effectively, Fury toyed and played with him. So let's now talk about the negatives of both guys in their attempts against Klitschko. You know, Anthony Joshua, for me, at the time that he was able to stop Klitschko, he was losing on points, okay? So Klitschko, for me, had collected more points, won more rounds than Anthony Joshua at the time of stoppage. Now, realistically, that doesn't mean that much, but it means that Klitschko was getting the better of the exchanges. He was outboxing AJ more than AJ was able to impart his game plan at the time of stoppage. Anthony Joshua was also dropped, okay? He was dropped and he was hurt, okay? And we've all heard the rumours about Anthony Joshua being hurt many times in sparring and amateur and whatever. But this time professionally, he was dropped and he was hurt, okay? He showed that his stamina, he does have a stamina issue. We know he's a huge, muscular heavyweight, and we always knew that there would be stamina issues, and this fight proved that can be a negative. You know, against other fighters, this could be even more of a problem, okay? So let's talk about Fury and the problems or negatives that he had, okay? He didn't really hurt Klitschko. He outboxed him and he frustrated him, and he took away his confidence, but he didn't really hurt him. He was very there was no big bombs. There was nothing that really kind of stopped Klitschko in his tracks. Okay, and also there was quite a low punch output. I mean, he boxed, and you know he was great on his feet, and as I say, frustrated Klitschko. But in terms of punch output, this was particularly low. So how I see it, in terms of who had the more impressive victory, I do have to edge against Fury. You know, he went as an away competitor in front of away fans, away judges. He let the fight go to the scorecards, you know, and he totally nullified Klitschko's game plan completely through skill and intelligence, okay? So let's talk about how a fight between Anthony Joshua and Fury and how their styles would mesh. Now, it's easy to say that the version of Tyson Fury that took out Wladimir Klitschko would do the very same thing. And to be honest, you know, I like the outcome. That's the outcome that I think is, you know, most likely. Fury would be able to outbox AJ, okay? And he would be able to outlast Anthony Joshua, okay? But what we have to say is, can he take a punch from Anthony Joshua? You know, we haven't really ever seen Fury in with a devastating puncher in their prime, Okay, now Wladimir Klitschko was a devastating puncher, and we saw that even against Anthony Joshua. In this instance, Tyson was able to outbox Klitschko, avoid any offense, and prevent Klitschko from even attempting to throw the big bombs. He wasn't confident in landing and settling because Tyson's movement was so exceptional. Okay, and we have to believe that this will be the same thing. You know, a lot of people do compare Anthony Joshua to Wladimir Klitschko because of their size, physique, and the way they box, but they are different because, you know, for me, Klitschko's movement is significantly better than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua does get criticism for being somewhat robotic. I mean, this has improved as time has gone on, but he's never going to be a light-footed boxer that has that sort of exceptional movement. It's just not going to be the case. But what we have to believe is, you know, if Anthony Joshua is capable of landing, the fight changes, because we've seen when Tyson Fury has been in a bit of trouble, he has been fortunate that when he has been in trouble, he hasn't been against, you know, concussive punches. He's been able to hold and, you know, avoid really kind of being taken out and riding the storm until he can impart his own game plan again. And, you know, he wouldn't, for me personally, I don't think that Tyson would be able to get away with an inside game against Anthony Joshua. I think getting in close would allow Joshua, you know, to really take Fury apart with some uppercuts and, you know, taking it to him in a way that if Tyson moves and boxes cleverly, if he can for a full 12, you know, that's how it's going to be. So for me, I do have to side with my initial instincts on the matter. I believe that Fury would be capable of moving and boxing cleverly, intelligently enough to avoid the dangerous punches and really reduce Anthony Joshua's output, you know, really making question what he's all about, whether he's capable of really going for it. And I believe that it will go the distance, with Tyson Fury being crowned, you know, the top dog in the heavyweight division. So how do you see this fight going? Remember to jump down to the comment section below and let me know as soon as possible. Love to hear from you, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next episode of Boxing Predictions.